Hey, welcome back to another update of my Canadian dividend investing portfolio updates. It's been a while since I said that, so forgive me. Basically, what I do is I am a Canadian investor. I buy and sell Canadian stocks on the Toronto Stock Exchange using Wealthsimple Trade, and I try to make videos about my process, kind of about how the journey's been going. I've been at it for about, I think, 13 months now or something like that, and I track all of my progress with this spreadsheet that I also made. And if you're interested in the spreadsheet, there's a link down in the description below where you can get it, as well as links to Wealthsimple Trade and Wealthsimple Cash and a couple of other things where you can get some nice little sign-up bonuses and stuff like that. So anyways, getting started here, looking at my stock value, this was yesterday, I think. I'm going to update the sheet in this video after I show you which kind of shares I bought yesterday. But my stock value is sitting around just under $54,900 with about $800 in cash that I spent. Now, the whole portfolio is up about $3,000 for about 5.75%. The last week was really hectic for pretty much everyone, I think. A lot of stocks fell. Previously, at one point, actually like a month or two ago, I was up $4,000 and I dropped down to like 2,700. So I actually had a paper loss of quite a lot, but it's starting to climb back up again. But I'm not too concerned about this exact amount. I do like to see it in the green and I do like to see it growing, but I am primarily a dividend investor. And what I'm looking at mostly here is my annual dividend income, that this is always on the rise because I'm buying mostly blue chip stocks and dividend aristocrats and stuff like that that just have a very long history of paying the dividends and slowly growing them. And so as long as this number is growing, yes, I will have, a principal, whether it's up or down to deal with, but I'm kind of looking at the cash flow here as I just kind of future plan into what I want to do with this money. And basically, I'm trying to save it for retirement. I'm sitting at an average yield right now of just under 4%. And for now, I think I'm going to try to keep it around that, maybe even a little bit lower. And then like later in life, I'll probably sell some of the lower dividend paying stocks that are like more dividend growth stocks and switch them into more high yield. But that's like decades down the road. And so as long as I'm, around 3-4%, something like that, I think that's a nice amount for me. Just in case I do need the money for some reason along the way, because it does work out to about $181 per month. And you can see I'm kind of hovering around that. It kind of comes and goes because not everything is paying monthly. Some things are paying quarterly, etc. So take this with a grain of salt. It's literally just this number divided by 12. So let's, I guess, just take a quick look here at my sector breakdown. If you've seen my videos before, you know that I'm heavily invested in real estate, followed by utilities, and then all of the other sectors come after that I'm into. And we can expand out this pie chart just a bit to kind of get an idea of what we're looking at here if you're familiar with some of these tickers. You can see here this one and this one and this one and this one and this one are all real estate. So like these kind of pies, they one is the individual holdings, the other is the sectors, but that's kind of why they correlate with each other basically. And then down here you can see my monthly dividends since inception. So what I'm doing when I use the spreadsheet, for example, with the dividends, like I track every dividend that I get, everyone into the account, just as they come in, I just put them in here. And basically this will sum up on the other sheet. So let's just take a look here maybe at October, just to give you an idea of how this works. So so far I've received 4 dividends in October. And if you check the sum down here, let's do that again. The sum is $50.37 so far. So when we look on the summary, $50.37. So this is basically just pulling in information from that automatically. And then same thing, I do the same with all my transactions, which you'll see in a second when I talk about the transactions that I recently did. But that also gets all factored into my portfolio tab here, which gives me a more zoomed out picture. I'm going to turn off that filter. Of basically how my portfolio is doing. So right now I had it set to the biggest percent of holdings to be at the top and going down in the bottom. If they did get a little bit out of order, it's because I haven't updated it yet, but I think it's still okay. And we can see down here I have, I think, about 31 positions in total. Some in the red, some in the green. I like it when they're all in the green, but whatever, can't win them all. You can see like some big losses here from DCM, Energix, Cineplex, and then actually some big ones here too. Recently the real estate industry has like really tanked. And some utilities too, so that's a bit bad for me because I'm quite heavily invested in those, but whatever. Basically when I see stuff like this, when I see a decline in a price in a stock that I am interested in, like I only buy stocks that I'm interested in that I think are probably going to go up in the future. Of course you can never know. But when they go down for a little bit, I see that as a good buying opportunity. So what I also try to do is I try to buy shares that are in the kind of bottom half of my portfolio when possible. So I was looking at that And I noticed in here Northwest Company. So for example, Northwest Company, they're down 1%. So anytime, any stock that I buy into this company when it's in the red, it's going to reduce my average price. And so that's what I did. I did pick up some Northwest Company shares, and I'll show you that in a second. I also picked up Severia. Severia's actually in the green, but I'll show you why in a second. And I also picked up some more of Hydro One, also in the green. But again, getting to that in a second, it has to do with the recent price drops that we've experienced in the last week or two. Given that I didn't only buy stocks that are in the bottom half of my portfolio, I also did pick up some of TELUS and also some of Bell. And when we actually go into here, so I have a tab here for spark lines where I can kind of switch out information in here and look at different time scales and different tickers and that sort of stuff and get a little bit of information here. It's similar to what you would see in your broker, but I find this tab actually quite useful here for extra spark lines where I just made like a master list. This will show up in the same order of everything that's in that portfolio tab, and you can quickly scan through all of the different tickers and basically just look for overall patterns and kind of see what's going on in here. So I like to always scan through here. But I noticed a lot of these stocks just tanked, which has to do why, my account was down like $1,000 recently. But if we can find TELUS here, so this one, big drop off right here lately. And then Bell as well, also a big drop off. And so that's why I picked these up, even though they are in the top half of my account. And then same thing going on down here if we can find it. Severia had a pretty big drop off. Also Hydro One, it's on the downward direction. And Northwest Company, I think, was the only one that was actually in the red for me, but also dropped. So when we look at something like, I don't know, let's just pick on Severia, for example. They've recently dropped, so compared to their recent prices, it's a decent buy. But when we look in here on my portfolio tab at Severia, they're still in the green, but, I was kind of watching them climb up and up and up, and now that they just dropped off again, even though the current average price, their current price is still higher than my average price, it's kind of lower than it was recently. So I kind of look at that as, a buying indication for me personally, but again, remember that I'm not a financial advisor or professional. I'm just a guy on YouTube. So always do your own research and make your own decisions, or hire a professional to manage your investing for you. So anyways, with that said, let's jump quickly into Wealthsimple Trade, which is the broker that I use to buy and sell all my stocks. And I like it because it's simple and it's also commission free, so you don't pay for trading. That's a really nice feature of it. You can make small trades all the time and you don't get penalized for that. Let's take a look here at the recent buys. Like I said, picked up some of H, a couple shares in there, I think 5 shares of Hydro One. Oh, sorry, that was last week. What am I talking about? Bell. Couple of TELUS, couple of Northwest Company, a couple of Severia, and a couple of Hydro One. What I do is I take all this information and basically transfer, I write down the number of shares that I bought and the price that I bought them at, and I transfer that into the transactions tab on the spreadsheet, which is just down here. And I just going to drop these in exactly like I had in Wealthsimple Trade. And I always like to double check that the totals add up to what I had in Wealthsimple Trade as well, just to make sure I haven't put in the wrong quantity or price. And once I'm satisfied with that, basically the last thing that I do is I drop back into this summary tab. And here you can see everything has been updated. The cash available, before it was like about $800 or something, and now it's $25. And but the thing that I'm here looking for mostly is this. So my annual dividend income. If you remember at the beginning of the video, it was about $2,175. And now we're at $2,206. And so that's an increase of about $31 in passive income per year. So that's pretty great, I think. A lot of the companies that I bought these stocks in are also going to increase their dividends over time. So that number will naturally grow even if I don't invest anything more. But what I do is I do invest more of my money into this. So this number will grow every time I deposit more money and buy more stocks. And this number will also grow every time that I reinvest the dividends. So every month I'm reinvesting basically $183 into whatever I feel like buying at the time. And that's going to also increase the annual dividend income. And then also when these companies just naturally grow their dividends, then that's going to increase this number as well. And when you combine all three of those together plus a lot of time, that's what we call the dividend snowball effect, and it just it explodes out of control. And then hopefully by the time you retire or decide that you're done putting in more money, then you can just live comfortably off the dividends. So you can see I've got a long way to go, but I've also got a decent amount of time, and so I'm just looking forward to continuing documenting this growth. And yeah, anyways, guys, if you watched this far, thank you very much for watching, and just let me know down in the comments what you've been, if you've been looking at some stocks this week. Well, I'd love to hear what you guys have been buying and to see how your portfolios have done with these recent crashes in prices in the last 2 weeks, and if that means that you're freaking out and leaving the market or doubling down and buying more. So anyways, guys, I'm out, and I will see you down in the comments.